brain of certain people or certain types of people. And like, if I were to say, an 80-year-old man was crossing the street, you go into your file and you bring up what you believe is an 80-year-old man. You see what he looks like. He might be kind of hunched
Right.
over and wrinkled or whatever, the way he was going across the street. Whatever it is, there's a preconceived notion of
Right.
this 80-year-old man. That may not be true of everyone.
Right.
It isn't true of everyone, obviously, because different people age different ways and et cetera, et cetera. But you
Right.
still automatically have that in your mind to begin with. And I just try to eliminate as much as that as possible.
Okay. So you are okay with people ascribing age to you. Like if I were to say, oh, Brandon, he's probably in his mid to upper 40s, that's okay.
Yeah, I mean, I'm I'm fine with what I mean. I guess we kind of do automatically assign an age. I mean, maybe I don't really
Yeah.
care when I meet somebody. I don't really. It doesn't. The age doesn't really matter to me.
So
That you know.
let me ask you this. When you meet somebody, you don't automatically ascribe an age to, like, so when I meet somebody, it's not that I'm trying to, but I
Right.
categorize like, okay, this is a younger person, so I'm
Right.
going to act accordingly. Um,
Oh, yeah.
well,
Well, I guess it just depends, and it's kind of difficult for me to um, predict somebody's age. I'm
okay,
not very
okay,
good at that. Like, especially, well, kids probably I could probably guess, like, if there were if a 5-year-old or 9-year-old or 15, whatever, those developmental
right,
ages are a lot easier. But once you
right,
get past adulthood, it gets more difficult because some people
right.
age more than others, and depends on experience and everything. But
I think once you
anyway,
hit
that's not
30,
what we
you're
were.
gonna. Oh
Sorry,
yeah,
no.
no, that's not why we are actually talking today. But that's good anyway. Hi Luca, hi Aaron, hi Copa Ganda, hi Marnie, who all's in here? Hi Eileen. Okay, hi Michelle, everybody in here. So I'm OnyxRose, and we have Brandon Ellrich of Brandon Ellrich is So Gay, and I just wanted to have a sit down, and this is going to maybe turn into a couple sit downs because I wanted to learn about Brandon's writing process and what inspired him to become a writer. What steps he took to solidify that. So hi, Intel. What's up? You're here just in time. We're getting ready to get started. So, Brandon, first of all, high school. Well, elementary school, middle school, high school. Let's just throw all those together. Um, how collectively, what type of person were you in those grades?
I have always been a shy kid, even back first day of kindergarten. I I didn't just go up and make friends or anything easily. I was always just kind of an introvert, and well, still I am an introvert, but I was just much more shy back then, especially. And I didn't feel like I fit in with any certain group or anything. I didn't like necessarily most of the things that other boys liked that my age, and
Right.
I did tend to have uh, female friends when I was young.
Yeah. Um,
So, and obviously why, I mean, later I realized, that was there were signs early, but at that age
right.
you just don't know anything. But
Right.
yeah, I was more of a very shy kid. Didn't make a lot of friends easily.
So, did you go to a school that had a larger population, or was it small?
No, it was very small, very rural,
Okay.
very small.
And was it
And
like K through 12th where you knew everybody, went to school with everybody, or
I at the time, oh, it changed over the years, but at the time, I think it was like it started off K through sixth grade or something like, or maybe even no, I don't remember. It might have been K through eight, and then they built the junior high, that was seventh and eighth grade. But um,
okay.
but yeah, it was, and yeah, we knew. I mean, like I knew all my classmates and everything. It was a very small school, very small class.
Okay. So, in that small class, did you feel stuck?
I don't really know if it's hard to think back that early. Like I
Okay.
sh- I
So, what
I
about later then?
I think I would have preferred to be in a smaller environment, just because being introverted, being shy and everything, I think I would have had an even tougher time in a larger population,
Right.
maybe. I don't know. That's kind of
You,
my feeling. I didn't like big crowds, big groups or anything. So having a smaller group, smaller class, I think was um, better. At least I felt better in it. So
okay.
yeah, if that makes sense.
No, no, it does. It does. But now, well, were you bullied in school?
Yeah, a little bit. Um,
Okay.
in grade school, I remember there was at least one guy specifically. I remember he was kind of
Yeah.
a he was very, I don't know the word. Um, I mean, he was a bully. He was just
Yeah.
like to be mean, kind of.
There's always this one person because I had the same one person who would chase me, and I had to reroute my way through different hallways and such to get to class so that, the bully didn't find me.
Yeah.
But uh, um, so did you start writing when you were young? Did you start keeping journals or anything like that? Hey, Sacred.
I never did keep any journals when I was young. I don't
Okay.
remember a whole lot about I remember, like, I've always enjoyed language arts, English
Okay.
class,
Right.
and that was definitely my forte, like especially over math. I was terrible at math. Always,
Yeah.
always have been terrible at math.
That was horrible. Yeah.
I remember one time in third grade, there were these, I think they must have been high schoolers that came down to uh, kind of help the elementary school kids or whatever. It was in third grade, but there was this the guy, the teenager, he was sitting by my desk and helping me with homework or whatever, or a problem, and was asking me something about the times table or something like that. And I couldn't figure, and I had my hands down below the desk, and I was like counting on my fingers, and he looked down there and he was like, he kind of smiled at me. I was like, he caught me.
Yeah.
But
No, math, it was horrible. Did you go to book fairs then? Scholastic Book Fair. I mean, you had to have done Scholastic
yeah,
Book
I
Fair.
yeah, I
Yeah.
remember the Scholastic Book Fairs. We had those
Okay.
big cases that they rolled into the gym and opened
Yes.
up.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
A lot of
Um,
my the books I read, I liked reading. I checked out a lot of joke books a lot of times.
okay.
I liked reading joke books. I also loved Choose Your Own Adventure. Did you ever read any of
Yes,
those?
yes, I did. Was
Yes.
it not Christopher Pike books, but yeah, I do remember the Choose Your Own Adventure books. Yes.
I don't know who
Um,
any of the authors of them were. I just remember I'd always get a different, as
you
many as the
frozen? Am I
library
frozen?
had.
Oh shit. I think I may
Oh,
be
you did?
frozen you.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
froze for a second. I can still hear
Okay.
you though. But
Okay. Okay. Yeah, we're
no,
back.
I would get I would get a choose your own adventure. And of course you could read those over and over again because you can choose a different thing every time. So it was
Right.
kind of a different book every time you chose it.
Right. Right.
If you would pick a different route.
Right. Were you a reader when you were younger? Like a reader? Did you?
Not really. I mean, I feel like I definitely enjoyed reading after I got out of school because, well, I think it's kind of the thing where if if they tell you you tell you to do something, you're not going to want to do it as much, you
Right.
know.
Right.
And we had to read these books and we had to write book reports on them, and that was a chore. That was homework. You didn't want to do those things.
Okay.
So,
See, I was different. I like,
okay.
I felt that, especially in literature and in English, British English, American English, I wanted to write papers, you know,
Yeah.
and I wanted to read books. That was so I enjoyed it, and my teachers were very much pro. Yes, read this, and yes, write papers. So it was pretty
Yeah.
interesting. Okay,
I didn't like timelines either. Like you had to read a book by a
right,
certain time, get it done by
right.
this time, and write a report on it or whatever.
Uh,
Now, of course, when I got into college, I was much. I liked school so much better when I got into college. I wish I would have had that kind of attitude and mindset when I was in high school and done a little bit better because I was very much an average student. Didn't really try that hard. I didn't care that much.
then
And
what changed?
I don't really know. It's I think it was partly college is just a completely different experience.
Uh,
And you go to this class, you've got 10 minutes before the next one, you can go walk around, do whatever, and you've got spaces in between and go sit in the union and whatever. But it was just a completely different life and more freedom.
uh,
In high school, you're stuck with this
right,
very rigid schedule. You have to 4 minutes to get to your locker and get your stuff and go to the next class. Unless that's what we had at least. Like I think it was 4 minutes.
right.
And anyway, it was just I don't know. It was just a completely different thing. And in college, also a lot of time. Well, you have your gen eds that you have to get out of the way, but
Right.
there are a lot of the
Right.
classes that you choose yourself. You go into a major that you want to learn in. And so kind of that's a different motivation. Like I wanted to take these classes. I wanted to learn more about these things. And that's
What
where
was
I
your
wanted to
major?
read more. I started off as a major in music, but
Okay. Okay.
I switched around. I switched to English. I was an English major for a while. I switched back to music. Then I switched to psychology. So I just went all over the place. But I
And
ended up with
what is your,
yeah.
go
I
ahead.
ended up with a degree in psychology and a minor in music.
Okay. Okay. Why did you end up deciding psychology over literature or English or any type of writing?
I don't. At the time, I was. Well, I remember in junior high we had a career day, and they had all these different people come in from different careers, obviously. And there was this one
Right.
guy he was a he's a psychology professor, and I don't know what it was at that age that I was interested in psychology, but I went to his session, I don't remember any of the
Right.
other sessions I went to. Don't remember at
Oh
all what I
wow.
picked for the other
Yeah.
ones.
Okay.
But I remember going to his and remember his name and everything. But it just really got me interested in that field. And I've always, and being an introvert, I think of a lot of introverts are people watchers. We kind
Yes.
of sit back and observe and kind of study, you know.
Yes.
We don't get like if you a lot of social butterflies will get in there, they'll talk to all the different people and go around and stuff. But they don't make real uh usually real significant connections. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's
Right.
just like here and there, yeah, hello, 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 and they go and interact with everybody in the room, and I mean, maybe everybody likes them and everything, but
Right.
there's no real, not a lot of connection.
Right.
But someone like me, I sit back and I look and I kind of study everybody. I was like, okay, first of all, is that somebody I even want to interact with? I kind
Right.
of wait, I'm like, so I like that study and analyze psychoanalyzing kind of. So I think that was kind of in my personality.
Let me ask you, if does this have anything to do with being queer as well? I mean, by its very nature, we have to be hyper vigilant,
Right. Yeah.
and that I don't know, like psychology has always been something I've been interested in. I mean, that was my major too. Egg has a degree in psychology.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
uh, uh, it, but
Yeah, I don't know. I never thought about it at that time, of course, because I was in denial, and
right,
that
right, right.
wasn't even on I didn't connect the two things at all. But looking back,
So early college years. Let's go back to college then. College, you weren't out. You were not out.
no, when I got to college, I that's when I started exploring,
Right, right.
when went on the personal ads at that time is what I went on,
Right,
and
right,
hooked up with a few guys that I went to college with and stuff like that. But
right.
no, I still wasn't out to anybody because the people I hooked up with, well, one of them I'm pretty sure he was out as a gay guy, and
Right.
the other one he was not. He didn't want anybody to know. I think he was part of a fraternity or something, and he didn't want any of his, you know,
his his
fraternity
frat
brothers to know.
bros, right.
Yeah. So, yeah, it was,
Okay.
so I yeah, I made sure anybody I interacted with, I looked at their profiles, like I didn't hook up with anybody who wanted a long-term relationship because I didn't think that was ever anything I was going to be a part of. I couldn't be in a long-term relationship with a guy. That just
Okay.
wasn't conceivable to me.
Wow,
So
right, right, right.
I was just exploring my sexuality, on the down low and all that.
Right,
But
right. So
yeah,
when does writing come into all of this? Have you been writing throughout all of this, like your college years? I know you
yeah,
had to write papers and so on and so forth. But outside of writing for college, were
yeah.
you writing for personal?
Well, I don't remember much in elementary school about writing or anything, but in junior high, that's when my seventh or eighth grade teacher, she was, I really liked her. She was probably one of my favorite teachers. And she, uh, she kind of, I remember being really interested in writing at that time. And then through high school, I took a creative writing class, a poetry class, and did a lot of writing through high school, even assignments. And I was okay with writing assignments. I was much more interested in writing than I was reading in high school. I
Okay.
loved I
Mhm.
loved creative writing. I loved writing poetry and fictional stories and stuff. and I had
Okay.
good teachers that encouraged me, so that really helped. And
Always
then,
good.
that continued in college too. I really enjoyed writing, and I took British literature and advanced composition and stuff, and I enjoyed my writing then.
Right.
But
Well,
yeah,
let's see. College lit. But you said you're a music major, a music minor.
I
Um,
am. Yeah.
and music is pretty much math related, isn't it? So you've got a math
Well,
brain.
I mean, I can count. That's pretty much all. I mean, with music, there's not a whole lot of math involved. I mean, you have to keep rhythm and know, like, yeah, you got to know the difference between 3/4 time, 4/4 time, 6/8, and all
Right,
that.
right.
But I took band in high school, so I mean, I wouldn't consider that's very minimal math to me. I mean, I can count to
What
three several
you
times in a
can you
row.
can right. So what did you minored in music? What do you play?
I in high school, well, I started off playing the piano in like I started like fourth grade or something like that, and took piano lessons. And then when I was I think the summer before my sophomore year, I picked up the saxophone and alto saxophone, and I
Okay.
played that in 3 years in band. And then that was well, actually, my major instrument, because when you major in music, you pick you're either a vocal major or an instrumental major, and if you're an instrumental major, you pick one instrument usually, and you focus on that, and you learn the other ones too. But when I was started out, if it was a music major, I was a piano major,
Right.
and it took a lot of they required a lot of practice and a
Right.
lot more than I was used to, you know.
Right. Right.
And piano, I mean, I don't want to be like elitist or anything above the other instruments or anything, but
Uh-oh, here we go.
piano is more difficult than any of the other instruments because you've got all of these notes going on.
Yeah.
Saxophone, it's always one note at a time.
Right.
Trumpet, you pick any other instrument, pretty much it's one note at a time.
Cello.
Cello sometimes two, sometimes you'll do two, but
Right.
not, you know, that's the most.
You may be right. Yeah.
So organ
Um,
and keyboard, I'll
organ,
say,
yeah,
I mean organ
keyboard,
obviously,
organ,
but
any of the keys type things.
right, any of the
Uh,
keyboard instrument,
right.
piano and organ mainly. But
So
I could
piano.
be doing like, like six, 7 notes at a time sometimes, and different chords, and there's a lot. So
Right.
anyway,
It's just a lot going on.
yeah.
Um,
So then I
so
switched to alto saxophone as my major instrument. I was like, well, maybe that'll be easier. But then,
and
we
was
got
it?
into all the theory and everything. It was actually, yeah.
Right.
And we got in the all music theory and everything and music history. I was just getting, it was like, it took the joy out of the music. You know what I mean?
So I've taken a music history class. I have not taken a music theory class, but I've taken a music history class, and it is a lot harder than people would expect.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
it's one of those classes that I thought would be an easy A, and it was not. It was
Yeah.
not an
Oh,
easy A.
yeah. Definitely. No. At least the one I took wasn't either. It was
So, but
terrible.
but you got through music and you minored in music with the alto sax as your main instrument.
Yeah, well, with a minor in music, I don't think you really even had to pick an instrument
Okay.
um as far as a focal point. Because
Okay.
with a minor in music, you can't really do anything with that as far as
Uh,
job or anything. I
you can
mean, you
write
can,
jingles. Come on,
yeah, well, I
commercials.
know, yeah, but it's like if you're gonna, if somebody's gonna look at it as, it's not very much of an accreditation if you go somewhere and try to get a job or whatever. Oh, you're minored
Right.
in music. Oh, yeah,
They're gonna be like, well,
big
yeah.
deal.
I
But
think it's a big deal, but yeah. So
yeah, I mean, I
when
learned a lot, and I'm glad I did it, and I've used it a lot. It's really helped my playing and everything, but and
Hi
singing too.
Margaret, hi Beth. Oboe, Joe, did you play the oboe? Whoever played the oboe is a beast. That is,
I love the
yeah.
oboe. Yeah,
I
I
love
never
the
got to
oboe.
learn it, but I love the
No,
sound. I love
I
listening to,
love the sound of the oboe,
yeah.
but just I've heard that trying to learn it is extremely difficult.
Yeah,
Um,
I would. I bet your embouchure would
right,
have to, with that double
right,
reed, that would
yeah.
be difficult. Because I
Uh,
played the clarinet and I could
no,
do that, but that one was a little harder than the saxophone as far as the embouchure is concerned. But then
right.
the oboe, I think, would be,
Uh, Tiny and hard.
yeah,
I played the tuba, so the embouchure is a completely different
right,
style. Different
yeah.
muscles. Well, not different muscles, but like stronger or more relaxed. I guess I don't know. Those tuba was a lot of fun. I was thrown into tuba. I wanted to play saxophone, and she was like, "Why don't
Oh,
you play tuba?" So um, so when did you through college were you writing personally? Um
well, I took I think it was, I don't remember which literature class it was. Um, and my teacher, she had published a book, and I don't know, once I was reading all these books, and I'd had this, so right after high school, actually, I guess I started writing it right after high school. I had
right.
this idea for a book, and I
Okay.
thought it was a pretty unique idea, and it was about this high school kid who murders his best friend, and it goes backward. Like, the first chapter starts the day after he did it, and he tells you
Right.
right at the beginning that he did it. So there's no mystery to it. You
Right.
you know he did it, but
Right.
it goes backwards, showing kind of his, um, I don't
Thought
know how to,
process? It's like
yeah, but backwards. You know what I mean? Like, it goes
right.
from guilt back to innocence. So
Right.
you see the day after and his mindset and everything, and then the next chapter is the day he did it and the method he used and everything, and then so it keeps going back and back until at the end you may or may not find out why.
Okay.
So
And
that's kind of the
is
mystery
the
of it
name
anyway.
Tell Me No Secret?
Yeah, yeah.
So the name of the book, yo, in the audience is called "Tell Me No Secret" by Brandon Ellrich. You can find it on your lovely Amazon, and I'm sure you can find it on Powell Books and things like that too. Can you find it on Powell Books, maybe?
I don't know
Um,
what Pal Book. I'm not sure. I'm not familiar with that
uh,
one, but I know you can do it.
okay.
Find it on Goodreads and Amazon and Barnes and Noble.
Goodreads, okay. Barnes and Noble, okay. Good.
Yeah, I mean, it's
Um,
pretty much wherever books are. But so I wrote this. It was a short story. It wasn't very
right.
long. I asked my professor if she would read it, and she did, and she said you should get this published. So
Oh, wow.
I
Okay.
started sending it out to publishers and everything, and I got rejection. You always get rejection letters. I mean, everybody does.
Yeah.
That's just how it
Yeah.
is.
Okay.
But eventually, I I decided I wanted to write a sequel to it, and actually it ended up being a prequel. And then after that, I wrote a third one to kind of wrap it all up. So I thought, well, if people don't like, because a lot of publishers don't want to publish really short stories, you know.
Right. Right.
So I decided to put them all together into one book, and that's what I did. That's what this one is. Tell Me No Secret is the compilation of all three of them together.
Okay. Okay. Thank you for telling me that. I was like looking. I was like, where are the
Yeah,
other
no,
two?
no. I
Yeah.
I decided I was like, well, if the first one was too short, I'll add all three of them together and
Right.
publish it that way. So
So did
it's
you
divided.
self-publish?
Yeah. Well, um, that one. So I'll have to go back again. The
Uh, okay.
so
Okay.
I had that, and then I came up with another idea of a book called Like a Mousetrap,
Yep.
and I self-published that one on Amazon. So
Right.
that's what this is.
Yes. Yes. Now, is this with someone? Did you write
No,
this with it says okay, okay. I see it. All right.
no, I think I hired a guy to kind of um,
There's an
copy or
editor on
line,
here.
yeah, edit. But no, I it's just
I don't
me
think
as
this is
far
the
as the
right one.
author.
Oh yeah, there okay, this is the right one. I'm sorry. Yeah.
But that
Brandon.
one,
Okay, so
I
go ahead.
that so it's I'm a mess. But I wrote Like a Mousetrap, and it was also a very short one, and I just self published it. And then kind of got the
Right,
feeling, just like with Tell Me No Secret, I was like, it's kind of short. So then I
right.
wrote another one as a two-part, and then I put them together. So the one, I don't know what it shows on Amazon right now. Actually, I was just working on it earlier today to kind of update it and everything. So you may not be able to order the right one until like 72 hours from now or whatever. But
The one that says like, is it the mousetrap one?
yeah, Like a Mousetrap. There was, because I originally had book one and book two
It's
separately, and then I decided to put them
yeah, no, it's
together.
there. It's yeah, it's actually there. It's solid.
Oh, okay.
You can order you yeah, you can order the whole thing. The yeah, 7.99 like a mousetrap.
Yeah.
No one should have to be trapped in a place they don't want to be. Yeah. Very cool. So
So
what's the process? Do you have a process about writing? Let's get into your daily writing then. So you did how did you graduate and are you still writing poems creatively at this point or are you
yeah,
doing other things?
I started a blog in 2020. I started a
Yep.
WordPress blog, and
Okay.
I created a website. Kind of basically, I created the website because I thought I probably, before I really promote my book and everything, I should build up an audience. And so
Good idea. Yeah.
created a website. I started writing a blog, I was building up audience, everything. I thought, well, if I build up this audience and then promote my book, my audience will buy my book, and blah blah. I would have all these great ideas. Didn't work that way. You know, I was,
it's
you know, but I don't regret any of it
it's
because
it, you never
oh, go ahead.
go ahead. No, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, no, that's all right. I I really enjoyed it. Because the stuff I was writing on my blog was just poems and short stories and whatnot, and I got involved. I met kind of a community of writers on there. I was part of a kind of a poetry prompt writing group, and we would promote each other's stuff. We would like each other's to read each other's stuff, and everybody people would like kind of a contest almost, where you would submit a poem and they would pick the winner, and that person got to choose the prompt for the next week, and et cetera, et cetera.
Okay.
But I gained a pretty good audience on there, but I couldn't, I wasn't monetizing anything, I wasn't making anything on
Right.
it. And that's what I
Right.
wanted to do. I wanted to make money on I wanted to earn a living by doing what I love. I loved writing,
Oh, well,
and I couldn't do that through my books yet. So I, I, I heard about Medium.
right.
Somebody from WordPress, I think, has told me about Medium. So I signed up for that, and I gained the amount of the subscribers I needed at first, because at that time you had to get like 100 subscribers to start earning money or something like that. And so I worked
Oh,
on that, and anyway, and I started writing on there. I started writing on there about the same time. Me and Robin Wilding started writing on there around the same time. I got to know her not too long after I started on there. And
right.
anyway, I was writing in a whole bunch of different publications, poetry and cat publication and short
Right. Right.
stories. And I, the Mouthy Renegade Writer, do you know who he is on here?
Yeah,
He
I
had,
don't. I know of him by that name. Yeah.
yeah, he's on Medium. He had a publication there, and early on when he had started it, I got in on his publication and started writing on his. And of course,
Oh,
he just blew up. He
wow.
got huge,
Um.
mainly because of Trump. I mean, he just started writing about uh, making fun of
uh,
Trump and MAGA and everything, and everybody really
okay.
gravitated toward that. But anyway,
That's just.
he's
I wish I could do that. I just. It's not something I can do.
I know,
Uh.
not me neither. Yeah,
uh
he just um yeah. Anyway, no. Um, anyway, so I wrote on Medium for a while. I had heard about Substack from Tom Krugler. I don't know if you've heard that name or not, but
I
he
haven't.
had a huge following on Medium. He's really big on LinkedIn, and that's where I had seen him. And he had been talking about Substack and trying to promote, because he'd kind of gotten what's that word, disin disenfranchised with Medium.
This.
And
Right.
he started writing on Substack, and from what I had heard, what the way he was describing it, it sounded like Substack was more for like professional writers in certain, like you had to be a professional, I don't know, professional marketer or a professional in a certain category. And I was
Like
like,
a
well, that doesn't
political
really,
writer.
yeah, yeah,
Um,
somebody that had some kind of educational background that was very specific for this thing, whatever it was.
yeah.
And then Robin had moved over to Substack, and she's a humor writer. That's what
Right.
was writing on Medium. And the Mouthy Renegade Writer, he was just, writing humor stuff basically, and rants about Trump. And I was like, well,
Right.
it doesn't look like you really have to be a professional in a certain category to be on there.
Right.
So I was like, well,
Right.
I might as well try it, because I had been writing some humor on Medium. I started writing some writing prompts, and I always like to twist things around. I, from
Yeah. Yeah.
from what you've read
Uh,
of my fiction stuff, at least, I like to
right.
take
Right.
things and twist them on their heads. But there'd be a writing prompt, and a lot of people would write something similar. But even if it was like a serious prompt, I would make it funny and make it satirical, just completely
Right.
changed the vibe of it.
Right.
And people started telling me how funny my stuff was. And I had never considered myself a humor writer before. Never done any humor writing, really.
Really?
I
Okay.
mean,
Okay.
I've always been like sarcastic and everything, never a class clown or anything like that, but
Well,
I've always had a sense of humor, and
yeah. Well,
I don't know, I just never just always written fiction and poetry and never even tried satirical or humor writing. And so
right.
I started leaning into that when I was on Medium, when people kept leaving comments. They're like, "Oh, this is hilarious," and blah blah blah. I was like, "Really?" So, like, okay,
so, so you found your avenue.
yeah. I just kept doing that. So I was like, okay. So I went over to Substack. I was like, well, I guess that's what I'll do,
Right.
and
Right.
that's kind of where it headed. I mean, I still when I was writing also on Medium, I was writing an LGBTQ plus publication, and before I left and came to Substack, I was getting a bunch of articles boosted on Medium. They have a boost program, and if they
Right. I think I saw that.
yeah if they choose your writing, if it gets nominated and chosen for a boost, it gets put out into a larger audience, and you get a lot more money for it. And
Ah,
so usually I would only make, I don't know, up to not more than like $50 a month on Medium for my articles and stuff. But
right.
when I had all these articles boosted, I get like, I don't know, I got up to like $800 a month on doing it with all these boosted articles. And
Wow.
then,
Wow.
but they completely changed the boost program around. They weren't accepting the same things anymore. My LGBTQ stuff wasn't doing anything anymore. So I was like,
Right.
at that point, I was like, well, I'm going to Substack and I'm going to try it there, because it was
Right.
just too volatile. Medium, you couldn't predict what you were going to get or anything, and you couldn't like
Was
hope for a boost because you didn't know if you were going to get it. And I
right.
thought,
Right.
if I could go to Substack and get paid subscribers, that would be like more um, consistent. I would know what I
Right.
was getting if I had somebody that
Right.
was, if I had these subscribers every month or yearly or whatever, then that's more sustainable than relying on,
A
just up in the
boost.
air. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah, am I
Right.
going to get this, or what am I going to make this month? I have no idea. So
Right.
that's when I started on Substack, and I have written some LGBTQ stuff, some more serious stuff on here, of course, but a
Right.
lot of it has
Yeah.
been the humor and satire. And then, of
Right.
course, at the beginning of this year, I created my new publication, Ellrich Unraveling, and
Right.
with
Which
for fiction and
we do
poetry.
love.
And that kind of brings us, that's kind of full circle back to when I started writing. That's that's what I started writing, is fiction and poetry.
Yeah, 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 yeah. It is full circle actually. So when you write though, tell me about your writing process. Do you get up every morning and start to write? Like every morning you get coffee, sit down,
Pretty
look
much.
outside, fucking write. Oh, you do?
I mean,
Okay.
I get up usually first thing in the morning. I'll check my notifications usually on Substack. I'll have notifications of likes or comments or whatever, and I go through those usually first thing. So my
Right.
phone's right beside my bed, and so I grab my glasses and get my phone, and before I even get out of bed. I'm just looking at notifications and stuff. And then, but
Always.
then, yeah, I'll
Always.
I'll go and
No.
make the coffee and go to the computer and open it up. And I have a hard time avoiding the stats. I always want to look at the stats, you know?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I get that. I get that.
Yeah.
Um,
Because I want to try to remain consistent. Like when I look at my views and stuff, I like them. I
Within a
I don't
certain
I don't
number.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I
Well, I mean, consistency is key in order to keep the same people who are subscribing to your stuff, you know. But when does
yeah.
has it, has it, do you see it as, you definitely see it as a job? Do you see it as a passion?
Yeah, I like it. I enjoy it a lot. It's I just like it's really hard when it's I feel like I have to spend so much time writing and putting stuff out there, and it's really not paying off for the time I'm putting in. You know, they're not
Yeah,
equal, you know?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And
That's, I think, you know, I think that's the way it is. You know, at least, I don't know. I write on Beehive, and I went over there with just little subscribers, 205. I now have like 190. You know, at one point for the first months, I'd put out like 40 articles. Um, you know, it's just it if it clicks, it clicks, and if it doesn't, it doesn't. You know,
yeah.
so I don't know what to say about that. But,
Yeah, and I see some people's writing, and I'm some people just, word vomit or whatever they just put out, or kind of whatever, and some people respond to that. Some people
right.
enjoy reading that kind of stuff, and but I don't know, I just have a hard time doing that because I'm just used to I guess I'm just used to like editing and making everything. I'm kind of a perfectionist, and maybe
There
that's
we go. I was gonna.
part of my problem. But
Right.
I was like, I've got to, whatever I put out there, it's got to be the best that I can make it. You
Right.
know, I
So how many, what do you, how much are you putting out a day? And how, like, what's your output like in a week? And um how do you go about deciding how, what you want to put out? Like,
well, right now, well, for the past year over, it's been a year and a half, I guess, because I started in, well, the end of 2024, but I really started in January of 2025, getting into Substack regularly. And for that entire time, I've done 2 articles per week
okay.
on my main publication, and an audio podcast on the weekends.
Okay.
And then, like halfway through the year, I started doing live videos and started doing baking videos. And I've still kept up with the 2 articles per week and the audio podcast. And then in January, I started the new publication, and I put out a poem and a short story every week. So I've got something coming
Woo.
out every day of the week, Monday through Friday. So
Okay.
Monday,
Okay.
Monday and Wednesday, I got an article in Ellrich's Brandon Ellrich is so gay, and an audio podcast Friday. Ellrich Unraveling, I've got him on Tuesday and Thursday, a
Okay.
poem and a short story, and in between there, I put the audio out. You know, the
Right. And then,
put it on audio
and then,
podcast, and then I've got
you
my
have lives.
the gay pussycat lover also.
Right. Right. Right.
Now that one, I kind of left that one alone for a while because it wasn't getting a lot of traction. So I was almost going to turn off paid subscriptions, and then somebody was became a paid subscriber just last month. So I was like, oh, I've got to start doing that now. So, well, I don't know if did you see my DIY cat scratcher thing?
I
I
did not see that yet.
Oh,
No.
well, that's
Mm-mm.
it, I mean, it's no
No.
big deal, but it just came out
No.
today. And
No.
so, but with that one, the paid subscriber it was like one of the lower levels, so they're only paying like whatever it is, $20 a year or something like that. Or
Right.
so I don't feel as like I need to put out as much for that. you know?
Right, right. Yeah.
So I might
Levels.
do
There's
just like,
levels.
right, right.
Right, right.
But
Um,
I got like, I, at first, when I started my Brandon Ellrich is So Gay, it took a little while. I think it was March when I got my first paid subscriber. And then maybe
right.
a couple months after I got another one. And it's kind of gradual, but um, I think I've got like 38 paid subscribers or something like that on my
Okay.
main publication. And then when I
Right,
started my fiction and poetry, I pretty quickly gained a few subscribers in that one.
right, right.
And I was really happy with that because I wasn't sure how it was going to do. It's like, I'm going to put this stuff out there. And because I had written, oh, there was another thing I've written. So I wrote all of these, this collection of short stories and poems, and I was going to publish it as a collection. But
Okay.
with my experience with self-publishing and everything, I was like, it's
Yeah,
really
yeah,
difficult. So I was
yeah.
like, I'm going to put it on Substack instead, and I'll put it behind a paywall and try to get paid subscribers for it. So that's what I did. So I got a few, and so that was really encouraging. But
Oh, okay.
yeah, it's
Interesting.
it's kind of lagged for the past month. I haven't gotten any paid subscribers.
Um,
I don't think I got any in May, but
uh, so then what is there a hustle that you're gonna have to do? Like, do you feel like you're gonna have to reorganize something or go back to the drawing board, or are you gonna continue to be consistent or how?
well, I don't know. I was actually talking. I mentioned to somebody just the other day. I was like, I'm thinking about some kind of rebrand for my main publication because I just don't feel like I'm gaining as much as at least compare. But we always compare ourselves to other people. I know, but
Yeah.
like I look at people in the same category, like in the humor category, and I see people doing a lot better than me. I was like, well, what is it? Is it because maybe the gay in the name is like turning some people off? Is that like, do they think it's all about being gay or anything or something like that? It's like, oh, that's not my type of humor. I don't know
I
because
don't
not
know.
everything some of the stuff I put out is just funny stuff. I put in an article called "What This Cow Is Probably Thinking," and it's just just a list of of statements that this I took a picture of a cow out in the pasture and I just wrote a bunch of stuff that if he could talk or he could think like a human, just things
Just
he's probably thinking right now. But and that one did really
wow.
well. It really didn't
See,
even take that
you
much
never
effort.
you
I
never know
know.
which ones are gonna do well.
I know.
Um,
It's crazy.
God, you do stick to so is it like a 40-hour job you would consider then 40-hour a week job, or do you do work like 5 hours a day and then come back to it at night, or is it
Um
fairly routine and structured?
I wouldn't say it's very structured. No.
Okay, okay,
It's partly it's inspiration,
there we
because
go. Oh,
you can't really it's hard to force inspiration, and if
right,
something
right,
comes to me, then I've got to write it down or make a note about it or something. But
right.
I also have to do work outside of Substack because this is not sustaining me. I mean, it may sound comparatively like I saw this one person who posted a note about they've been on Substack for 5 years or whatever it is, and they got their first paid subscriber or something like that.
Oh,
And
wow.
and I'm
Okay.
like, oh well, I
Oh,
mean, if I'm gonna compare myself, I mean, I wouldn't have lasted that long. I wouldn't
right.
even
No, no,
I wouldn't have stayed
no,
on here because I
no.
couldn't.
Yeah,
But
no. That's
anyway, even with like even if I had like 50 or more paid subscribers, you look at like that's only like $6 a month or whatever, and or if they use discounts, that's less than that. That's
Right.
not even that's like a little over $2,000 a year. You know, that's not a
No.
that's not something
No.
you can live on,
No.
you know.
Not at all. Not at all.
So
No. Not at
I
all.
do freelance writing outside of Substack when I can, when there are projects available. I've working like for freelancing for like three different companies, and but there's not always, sometimes it's first come first serve, sometimes they just don't have any projects going on, so you gotta pick those when you can too, and work that into what I'm doing on Substack. So it's
I did
I
read something. AI trainer. What is
oh
that
yeah,
about?
that's part of my freelance working. Like I applied for a job that was it said content writer, but when I
Okay. Oh, okay.
when I actually got into it, it's like, well, there's not a whole lot of writing involved. I mean, there was like writing prompts because
Right.
there some of it is like audio training. Like I would
Okay.
for
Well,
the for AI, I would like they would give me a script and I would say it, and I'd have to play like dogs barking in the background, and I would have to stand so far away, and the AI would have to try to listen to what I was saying and pick it up. And
okay.
so it was
Okay.
basically it's just training the AI to learn to listen better and to weave through the noise and all that. So
Huh.
it's not the type of AI that's like taking over writers' jobs or anything
Right.
in
Right.
in that case.
That is
It's just like
that.
evaluating. It's some of the projects were like it's the AI would give you a vacation itinerary. Like say
Right.
I want to travel to Atlanta in September, and I'm taking we're going to have kids and an elderly parent, and we want to do something fun and educational, and it's supposed to give you this itinerary, you know.
Right.
I'd have to judge it. I'd have to look at this stuff and be like, okay, is this place open at this time? Is this
Oh,
appropriate
really?
for
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
So and a lot of sometimes it did not get it right. It would
Right. Well,
it would send a class of fourth graders to a bar, and it would be like yeah,
AI, yes,
yeah.
AI wins
Sometimes it
again.
got it very wrong,
Yes,
but
AI of the 20 toes. Yes. Oh God.
but it's interesting stuff,
Right.
and it's kind
Right.
of fun sometimes. Some of that stuff is
Right.
kind of fun, I think, but you know,
Mm. Okay. Um, well, we're it's kind of funny. We're at an hour, and I've kind of hit
yeah.
most of what I wanted to talk to you about
Oh, well,
in terms of your process. Let me ask you this though: how we've all, within the circles we run, we've heard about Substack supposedly being a bubble and like the bubble being about to burst. And what do you think happens after Substack?
I mean, if it all just exploded tomorrow or whatever, Substack, I mean, I would probably, I mean, I looked at Beehive. I've considered that, there's, there's the aspect of the ads and everything, which I don't like the idea of,
Yeah,
but
um,
I mean, it's, it's a, it's another opportunity to write.
it
And
is. It
there are
really is.
places like Vocal, um, but I think I would really miss like the audio podcast and the video podcast.
I think so. Yeah,
But where
yeah.
else? I mean, I'm not gonna try it on YouTube because it takes
No,
so
no.
long to build up an audience, and it's all the
Um,
vitriol that's on there. It's just
yeah,
ridiculous.
YouTube is
So
horrible. It really is.
I really don't know
I
what I would go back to content writing, like looking for jobs, not AI, but actual
right,
content writing. I would probably look
right.
for some of those freelance writing jobs because
Uh,
now that I work from home,
uh,
I think it would be really difficult to go back to an office or
I
somewhere. Like
yes,
I
I know.
I've been
I
doing this
know.
for several years now, and I really enjoy being able to stay home, and especially like during winter when it's the icy roads and
Right.
stuff, don't have to deal with any of that. And
Right. We don't have that down here, thankfully, but
well,
yeah,
yeah,
understood. The heat, the just going into any office, the last time I worked, I actually had to I worked retail, so I had to go, facing customers and but before that, I worked from home, and I was thinking that I would never work, in front of customers again. I did have
yeah,
to, being trans, that it's something that happens. I'm hoping that I can get something from home, because I cannot work in front of people again. I just can't. It's demoralizing having to drive in to work every day. I think they should make a lot. I know they can't make everything. Um, Remote. That's ridiculous to say, and it shows
yeah,
privilege. But I still
yeah.
I like working from home. I like using my own
I
toilet.
know.
Let me put it to you like
Well, yeah, that's too. Well, yeah, yeah,
that.
yeah. But
um,
I don't want to go to a job that I'm dreading either. Like
right,
you,
right.
the last job I had, I was looking at the clock all the time and just waiting for it to be before I can get out, and then dreading going back the next day. I don't want to do that. And
That's
I do
yeah,
love doing what I'm doing, but it's also not sustaining me at the moment.
right.
I've got to do something different.
Uh, uh,
Got to change something to make it better.
Right, right. Understood. There has to be another way. Another way. My bestie wrote a book as well, and we marketed it hard as and I was thinking with all of this marketing, it's gonna catch, and it did
Yeah,
not catch at all.
it
It's
is
just
so difficult.
it is so difficult. But my therapist, my old therapist, was sitting in a cafe with her book, and somebody walked by and looked at the cover, sat down, started talking to her, took the book, read it, and now they're making a movie about it.
Oh,
You just never know. It's
you
like
know,
it's
it's
crazy.
it's kind of funny because sometimes if I used to go and like write at a coffee shop every once in a while, and I would always bring my book with me and put it on the
Yes,
table
you
next to me,
yeah, yeah, you
just
definitely
for
should.
something like that reason, like somebody maybe
Right,
coming by and saying, "Hey, what's that?"
right.
Well, I just happened to.
But yeah, so it will be like this was during like right before the pandemic. So the pandemic kind of stopped everything. I don't know if she I'm not her therapist, I'm not her client anymore. So
Yeah.
I don't know. But the book is called Cray Cray. If you ever
Oh,
want to
okay.
look it up. Yeah. Um,
Interesting.
yeah, but okay. Well, Brandon, do you want to plug some things? I think it's probably time to give it a close.
Um, at the moment, I don't know what's going on for me. I mean, I've got some as I already explained, I've got something coming out pretty much every day, and
Right, right,
I often do a Mad Libs every Sunday night.
right, right. Mad Libs every Sunday night. What do you got something coming up with Sturge on Monday, Tuesday?
I don't know. I haven't talked to, he's been like kind of out
As
of
it
it for the last couple weeks, so
right,
I I haven't talked to him lately, so I don't know for sure, but
right,
I know
right.
I've got a live coming up with Ginger Cook. I think we're gonna do
Okay,
it on the 15th, which will be the week after this Monday.
okay.
I'm planning on going to KC Pride Fest tomorrow, and
Awesome.
I'll go live while I'm there at some point. Um,
Yeah.
so you can, if you want to tune in and watch me there, you can. But other than that, check out both my publications. Well, all three of them, I guess. But I'm more promoting the fiction one and the my main one.
Right, right.
I hope you I
Um,
hope I hope you see the mini pony unicorn at the KC Pride Fest. Yeah, I there
the
was a last year there was a mini little pony. I don't know if it was at KC or not, but it was one of the Pride Fest parades. I took a video of it. But
okay.
anyway, I
Well,
assume
we
that's
will
what she's talking about.
have yourself a grand old Pride tomorrow, Pride Fest in KC. How is it? Is it a couple hours away from you, or like so? Athens is an hour 45 minutes from us, and we'll be
Yeah,
heading
it's a
that way.
little over an hour for me,
Okay, okay.
but yeah, it starts
That'll be
tonight. But
fun.
I'm gonna wait till tomorrow to go.
When you go, do you stay the whole day, or
Um, I don't know. I don't really have a plan.
yeah?
I'll go and see how I feel. Um,
Okay.
if I go
Uh,
with like last year, I went with my friend Allie, and I think she was ready to leave before it was the end of the day. There's a lot of walking and everything, and she was like,
yes, yes.
so.
Pride is a lot of walking.
But I think I'm gonna be by myself tomorrow, so I can do whatever I want.
Coolio. Okay, yeah, we are going to Athens Pride, and we will probably be going live as well, um, to see what kind of good trouble we can get into. Hopefully, there won't be any, um, cuckoos there, any clan or anything like that. Could happen. But
Yeah,
anyway, yeah.
Eileen was saying to last year it was raining. Yeah, I was watching the parade in the rain last year, but
Oh, it rained
tomorrow
last year.
morning, yeah, it should be good.
It's gonna be hot tomorrow in Georgia. It's gonna be in the upper 80s, maybe, yeah. So upper 80s, but humid. So it'll be like a soup kitchen. All right.
Yeah.
Well, we are gonna go and close this right now. Thank you so much, Brandon, for coming on.
Well,
I
thank you. I
appreciate
appreciate it.
it. Wanted to know about your I wanted to know about your writing process for a while now. First of all,
I,
and the reason why I wanted to know about Brandon's writing process, and Brandon hasn't said anything about this, but it's because he did get into Emerson, and if you know anything about colleges and schools, Emerson is a fucking huge deal, and so you should fucking put that everywhere. Yes, I got into Emerson.
well, yeah, that's part of. I mean, I appreciate you doing this because I'm not good at marketing myself. I don't like to like. It's hard for me to just like. I feel like it's bragging or boasting or whatever, but I know sometimes you have to do that if you want to put yourself out there. But anyway, I
Yeah,
appreciate you inviting
well,
me on and doing it.
you're welcome. That the Emerson thing is huge. You should really, put that on your shirt. um, okay, y'all. This is how I close everything. No trash, no transphobia, no racism, no ableism, no sexism, no homophobia, no xenophobia, no Islamophobia, land back, reparations, no borders, fuck Trump, and fuck ICE. All right, y'all. Thank you so much. Have a good night.
Thanks.